Hello, and welcome to Rapalina's American Girl Doll channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through an idea I have for a new American Girl doll, historical doll, that's diverse, and that's actually a Pacific Islander. I show her here on the side, and we're going to go through kind of what I'm thinking about her, and please let me know in the comments if you agree. These are just my ideas for how to help American Girl become more diverse in terms of their historical characters. This is a little different than their diverse line of contemporary dolls that will be released later on, and I have some thoughts about that as well. But I'll be releasing a few of these videos to kind of highlight different ideas I have and to help encourage diversity in American Girls line. My previous idea was an Alaskan Native doll, 1896, from the Klondike Gold Rush, and I'm going to link that video up here in top. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And just a little background about American Samoa. So American Samoa is the southernmost territory of the United States and one of the two U.S. territories south of the equator, along with the uninhabited Jarvis Island, which could be some make for some cool storylines. Maybe she goes to Jarvis, things of that nature. There are tuna products that are their main exports. Maybe some tuna fishing kind of things could be available. And their main trading partner is the U.S. since they are a U.S. territory. So just a little bit about the history. So the partition of Samoa occurred 1899, December 2nd, and it was the partition of American Samoa from the other part of Samoa, which remained a German colony. And then the other piece became part of U.S. territory. There was a Ratification Act in 1929, and actually American Samoa became self-governing under Constitution, which became effective in 1967. So actually American Samoa has been part of the U.S. for a very long time, at least since 1899. And this is a little bit of the partition, a little map, and the main kind of city is in Pago Pago. And I think a doll living during the 1967 time period would be really cool because that was when American Samoa became self-governing under Constitution. I think it would just be a really neat time period. It would contrast a little bit with Melody. She's living during the same time period but in Detroit. Michigan has a very different story, a lot of different elements happening there. But we have Molly and Nanea, and they're two very different dolls, both living during World War II and with very different experiences. So I don't really think it would be a problem because Pacific Islands is just so different from what was going on in the States in the 60s. But I just think it would be a really neat doll to have. Another thing is the Apollo projects that was happening in the 60s, and a lot of them, and this is a map, a lot of the shuttles kind of went down in the Pacific Islands. So that could be a neat theme of the collection. So I think should be a very diverse doll, should be mainly Samoan. So this is the ethnic breakdown of those living in Samoa, 88% Samoans, 2% Tongan, 2% multiracial, 2% Filipino, 2% other, like 1% European. So I think if she was Samoan, basically 100% Samoan, maybe a little mixture, but I think 100% Samoan would be really awesome. For her collection, I think some space-themed items would be really cool, again, because the Apollo project landings were occurring in the Samoan region around this similar time period. We've just had Luciana. Luciana is actually a little bit old now, 2018. Most of her collection is retired. She'll probably be retired by 2022, and it takes American Girl usually 2 to 3 years to design a doll, so I'm not expecting this historical collection to really come out till 2024, 2025. And then Luciana's collection will be really old, and so some of her collection maybe could be repurposed. I think a space capsule would be a little bit different. Again, these space capsules were dropping off in the Pacific Samoa area around this time, so it'd be a nice theme kind of to add to collection. Some oceany sets would be really fun. I have a video about some of the ocean sets I have in my collection. I'm going to link that up here in the top. Also, there are, Kanani has a lot of sets. And again, those dolls in these collections, even Leia, by 2025, these will be old. And if it takes them 3 years to design it, I wouldn't expect a new historical character of this type till 2024, 2025. And then it would be really neat to have as part of these collections. So also maybe some items specific to Pacific Samoan culture would be really neat. Not a lot, I don't think the whole collection because, she'd be a girl living maybe 60s, 70s, in the islands, but, just a couple would be really neat to have. What should her name be? Let me know in the comments what you think. I looked online a little bit. I mean, there's some really cool Samoan names. So Lanola means the color of life. From Samoan, Lanu means color, and Ola means life, and Lanuola sounds really pretty, I think. There's a whole list of Samoan names at this website below. You can look there, or you can find your own, or maybe you have some that you think are really cool. So just let me know in the comments. That would be really awesome. So now we're going to go through the process of creating her on the American Girl website, which I think will be neat. I do think a new face mold would be really cool. Again, I think I said this in the last video about an Alaskan native. I don't think, trying to put Native Americans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, and also, Alaska natives all in the same face mold would really work. But maybe they could repurpose Naneas. Native Hawaiians are fairly similar to Pacific Samoans, but not that similar, so maybe they could just tweak that one a little bit. But since we're left with what we're left with on the Create Your Own website, I think the Sonali mold would be the most appropriate. I've done kind of the light red hair with light brown eyes and a curly long hair. A lot of Pacific Samoans have very long, very curly hair, and it's actually part of their culture is not to cut their hair. And actually, in this doll, I gave her heterochromia because I thought that would be really neat. So one kind of hazel eye, one light brown eye. And that could be a feature in her story. Maybe there could be some parts of bullying, maybe because she has heterochromia. I think that would be kind of a neat feature to her story. But I'm not completely sold on if American Girl would actually sell a doll with heterochromia and weave that into their storylines. So in the case that they wouldn't, I was thinking, maybe just the light brown eyes. But I kind of think, one hazel eye. I don't know if you can see that very clearly here, and I'll kind of go through it when I go through it on the website. But the right eye, which appears left on the screen, is hazel, and then the left eye, which appears right on the screen, is light brown. Gave her kind of activewear gear. I think, again, you'd have to have gear custom to her. But I kind of really like the hat with the long curly hair. And I just gave her kind of the lightish red hair. I think she should have like a dark brown and with highlights though. So the dark browns that are available on the website, the Create Your Own line, don't have a lot of highlighting. So that's why I kind of went for this red one. I thought it looked really neat on her. Again, let me know what you think. I'm going to walk you through those steps of creating her and then kind of go through the different things I was thinking about with this doll. But please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate all you guys who subscribe, and I really appreciate your thoughts on these dolls. Again, I think if you put a lot of likes in for this video, maybe American Girl will actually see it, and maybe they'll actually consider this doll for like 2025, which sounds like a long time from now, but in a few years, it really won't be. So anyway, appreciate your thoughts on this. Okay guys, so I have her here. I kind of got it all ready for you. Again, if you order through, I think, the end of June 20th, you can get two times the AG reward points. And you're going to create your own dolls, so it's kind of tempting. I'm just leaving that on the bottom. That might, disappear by the time you're watching this video, but, getting them now would actually be cheaper. I think I'm going to wait a little bit because I spent a big budget on my dolls, but anyway, here she is. I gave her the kind of the active wear stuff. I think, any historical doll would need her own, clothes appropriate, but it seemed to be the most fitting for her, as well as the exercise kind of gear. She's going to be an outdoorsy girl. She's probably going to be, and I just love this hat on her too. So I picked the Sonali face mold. I think it's the most appropriate of this 5 choices. The 25, I mean, you could go a little lighter or you could go a little darker if you wanted, but I think and the darker tones kind of brings out the heterochromia a little bit more maybe, but I think 25 is the perfect blend for her. And if I was going to pick, non-heterochromia, I think I would go both like light brown because I think they look really pretty. The dark brown, I had is a little bit more boring. I do really like the gray now kind of contrasted on the darker skin tones, so that's, another thing. And again, if you create your own doll, you can do literally whatever you want. We'll just do both light brown for right now. I'll just kind of roll with that. As far as the hair color, so I picked the light red because I really want kind of highlights in it. The brown seems too deep. The dark brown is definitely, because Pacific Samoans are often in the sun, and so they tend to have like a brown, like maybe light reddish strands in with dark brown, and brown would be really cool. But I thought to do light red just for the sake of the contrast to that. I think it looks neat. They tend to have very long, naturally curly hair, so I thought that was also the most, appropriate hairstyle. And yeah, let me know what you think. Do you like her? Would you be getting her? Are you getting a different create your own doll? Please remember to like this video though, because I think if we get a lot of likes on these kinds of ideas, American Girl may consider more diverse historical characters. That's at least my hope. anyway, let me know what you think of her name. I think Lanola is really pretty for the color of life, but let me know, what you think of her name. Do you like her? Do you want American Girl to come out with a new face mold? Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And as I said this a couple times, but I do think your likes would help encourage American Girl to create new diverse historical character. I think they'll also be more likely to see this. And just keep on loving dolls, and see you again in the next video. Bye!